Hello, everyone, to another, oh my gosh, another one, episode of Disabled Girls Who Lift. This is Marcia sitting on Seminole Tribe land, also known as Florida. Happy to have everyone here on the podcast. They will introduce themselves.
So excited to be back. It's Marybeth from Northern California, sitting on Ohlone land. And I'm going to let our guest introduce herself because she is just a part of the family now. You've seen her on Instagram, YouTube, listened to her on our podcast, Edmonton, Alberta, just a beautiful Canadian. Welcome back, Alexis.
Thank you. What a beautiful welcome. I feel like I'm back home with family. It's really, really great. Yeah, I'm Alexis from Stump Kitchen. I use she, her, and I'm on Treaty 6 territory, which is the traditional home of Cree and Blackfoot, Nakota Sioux, and Métis people. And it's right now it's sunny and a little bit warm, but also it snowed and it's like
Eh?
been plus 18 Celsius. So
Oh my
it's
gosh,
just a confusing time in
What
my
is
city right
life?
now.
I wish I could do that.
What is life? Well,
Yeah.
if anyone heard our episode way early on when we were just a baby podcast, Alexis was brewing a baby of her own. And now we're now a little we're learning how to walk. We're getting a little farther along on our podcast. So what about Alexis's baby? We know about our baby this podcast. What's going on with your baby?
Oh my gosh, that was such a cute segue.
I know. I was
So,
gonna say, our podcast isn't teething.
No, our podcast is
well, yeah, I wonder what that like what the same thing would be for a podcast, what teething is. But yeah, my baby is teething. But yeah, just to like place my little one in time, I guess. So their name is Joven, and Joven uses we're using all pronouns, or we're using three pronouns for Joven: she, her, he, him, and they, them, just to, allow space for Joven to declare their gender, and how they want to be referred to once they are old enough to kind of know. Um, and yeah, their name is Joven and it means Jupiter, or also, yeah, this is fun, hey? It's kind of where like, by Jove, I think I've got it. Do you know that whole thing? I think that's where it comes from. And it's a kind of like a Slavic name because my partner Allison is Ukrainian. And
oh,
Joven is almost 11 months. He'll be 11 months on the 25th of April, a
Oh
year on
my
the 25th of May.
gosh.
So I'm like, like Some Kitchen is mostly a cooking show, right? As you know. I'm still waiting on, we're going to plan an episode for all of us to do something
oh
together online
goodness, yes.
for sure. But pandemic, that'll all happen in time. But like I'm looking up recipes for a like just a good like low sugar like smash cake. You know how you just like let babies smash their cake when they
Oh
turn
my
one? So
gosh.
Oh, that would be
that's what
such a
I'm
fun
currently
episode.
doing.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, almost 11 months teething. We're doing sign language, so she's, able to communicate using ASL and a couple of words that are sounding kind of like words, but kind of not.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and teething and biting my nipples. It's just great, but um, it's not that bad. Just a joy. We're starting to go on the swings at a park by my house, and yeah, every day is an adventure. So it's
That's so
amazing.
great.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
sign, you both speak, I mean, you both know ASL already? Or are you just
So
looking up little like more and help or like little signs?
a little bit of both. I'm definitely not fluent, but my sister is pretty fluent. She's been taking a lot of really rad classes, and she has been teaching me a little bit as we go along. So
Mm,
yeah, yeah, it's been really, really great.
that's
Hmm.
neat.
That's
Yeah,
so
because I feel
great.
like babies can't like they understand and want to communicate a little bit before their mouth is able to form like vocal words, but they're able to say gestural words a little earlier. So it's nice. It's really cool
Oh yeah,
for
it is.
communication and stuff.
I have
Like
tons and
like the
tons of kids that
grasping
do that.
and all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got a couple of kids that I treat. They don't have any. They make vocalizations and they garble or whatever, but if they're eating, you're like, more, they're like,
Mm.
Please, yeah,
more, more,
please,
more.
more, please.
They
Yeah,
know. Oh
yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
It's amazing.
They know. So that's like the top. Number one is the more, and the number two is all done. It's like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
All done.
yeah,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What
yeah.
stairs? No, all done.
But don't be rude about it in ASL. Do say please.
No.
Yeah, right? We're
No,
just
none of
working
them
on
know.
please with Joven. We're just working on please
What's
now.
please?
Like we're
Oh,
okay.
good.
What's
More
help? Is it
please?
help something on the chest too?
Mm,
Is it
I
help me
haven't
some sort
I
of like?
haven't learned help. I'm not
I
sure.
can't remember that, but I feel like it started by the chest. So
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
remember them all. I know
Yeah.
eat.
Ooh.
That's easy.
We've got to get JC on
Same.
too.
That's
She's
easy.
Water.
ooh, water.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Good
And
idea.
the I love you or the thank you, right? There's
Yeah,
that.
thank you. And then I love you because you've got the I, the L, and the U.
Oh,
So it's a nice little I
Yeah.
love you. And
that's adorable. So all the rock stars that thought they were being like super cool and whatever have just been saying "I love you" this whole time.
yeah, so maybe they did know. Who
Maybe they
knows?
yeah.
Maybe they did
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
So how has
Um,
your YouTubing been going? Did you kind of take a break? Are you still regularly on whatever
yeah.
schedule you were before the baby?
I mean, good question. Okay, but when I was pregnant and like right before I gave birth, I was like, you know what? Like after 3 months, I'm gonna be back like uploading every week, blah blah blah. I'll be editing. And
Mm.
heck no, that was so wrong. I tried really hard to kind of pre-plan and like pre-edit and post or like pre-film and edit episodes. And I had old footage too that I hadn't gotten to from a few years ago that I've been able to work through, but I thought I would get all prepped and ready, but you know, that never works when you try to like work in advance. Not for me anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
and so it was a bit touch and go for a while, but I eventually got to a point where I just had to forgive myself and understand that my online community and people that are watching my show and enjoying my content, they are also human and like forgiving and adaptable and will understand circumstances, you know, change for people and we all have different needs. Like
That's
that's what I would
beautiful.
want for any content creators that I watch. And like, my pal Footless Joe, who has had two now amputations on the same leg, she often has to take uploading breaks, and she's always just like, oh, I feel so bad and I feel so stressed and all these things. And all of
Mhm.
us watching are just like, take your time. We will be
Chill.
here when you get back.
Yeah.
It's okay. But it's always the case where, don't you find you can give this advice, no problem, but taking it yourself is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the worst. So
We're our harshest critic.
we really are. And so I did have to do a lot of like just self-reflection and self-forgiving, I guess, and being gentle with myself around taking a bit longer to put up an episode or doing a different kind of content that week or month just to kind of make it easier on myself.
Right.
And also get to the point where I had to look at like, yeah, my work and my job is important and I love it, but right now my number one priority is, nurturing my family and
Right.
growing
Yeah.
this child and nurturing my relationship with
Kind
my
of a big
partner.
deal.
Yeah, right? Because like when you have a baby, everything changes. Everything changes. Like
Oh my gosh.
you, it's, like just finding time to like hug my partner. We have to like schedule time and like carve out that time to make each other a priority again. And I think if you don't work at it, it can kind of slip away. So it's just changed how I navigate the hours in my day. And but now I'm in a rhythm where I can get 1 or 2 or 3 hours in a day of work, here and there to kind of edit and put stuff out. And yeah, it's been tricky, but I think it's finally, 10 months
Right.
later, I'm finally getting back into a bit of a groove. And one thing that was really helpful and something that have I've never done up to this point, and I've never wanted to, just because I think this is my favorite part of my craft, is editing. But I found a really awesome editor in BC to
Mm,
help me go through a lot of my old footage to get content out. So she's been helping me quite a bit editing stuff. I've been able to hire her, and that like
changed
honestly
a
has been a
lot.
lifesaver. Like there's no way I could have been putting out content. But I'm at a point now where I can like get back in the editing chair and be like, okay, here we go. So it's feeling good. So yeah, that was a hard thing to do as someone who takes pride in that editing work, but also realizing, I can't put anything
Can't
out
be
if I
the
don't
one
have that
person doing
support.
everything.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
changes when you
Yeah,
have a baby. So, yeah, it's been behind the scenes, it's been really emotional work-wise for me, but I think on the outer like what people see hopefully hasn't changed too much, but yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure.
it is
Yeah.
interesting. And what
On our
about
side, on our side of the screen, it seems as though you've been fairly active. So it's as if you've never left.
Wow.
yeah.
We've we've honestly loved like seeing the content, your family's transformation, your growth, and
Mm-hmm.
it really sounds
Aw.
like from the get go, like you and your partner are really excellent communicators, and you've always had
Mm,
this plan, right? I think last time you said the plan was for you to get pregnant first and then them to have the second and then
yeah,
just like
yeah.
that kind of defines your relationship and
Mm.
carving out some time to love each other too. I think we can all learn from that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate that for sure. And I honestly I couldn't do this with anybody else. Like yeah, it's strengthened us for sure, and it shows you where your potential weak points are, I guess, or the points
mm-hmm.
of where you can kind of work on. So eventually it's just making us kind of stronger and even better communicators and stronger as a couple. But
Yeah.
wow, it is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. The whole
Mm-mm.
parenting thing, it's an adventure.
Mm-mm.
Well, I
But
think and like parenting through a pandemic, being pregnant through a
mm,
pandemic, having a newborn where they're so susceptible to sickness and
yeah.
diseases or whatever, and kind of keeping them away from friends and family, that must have been tough,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like
was
you're saying
pretty
now that
rough.
you have sunshine and you're going to the slides, but that wasn't the case early on.
No, no, yeah, it was pretty dark for a little while, but we're just trying to live every day moment to moment. And you're
Mm.
right, like the sun is really helping. And like for the content and stuff, putting that out, like April, which is the month that we're recording this in right now, it's Limb Difference Awareness Month. And so that makes my whole life and my job so much more like, I don't know, enriched or enlivened, I guess, because there's so much incredible content from disabled creators all over the world, and it gives me something like new to focus on, posting as much as I can each day or during the month. And this month I've got to, reach out to people in my community and around the world, folks with limb differences, kids, bigger kids, adults, to answer little questions, and then I'm posting their voices on my Instagram page. Just 'cause I think like I I like showing stuff and talking about stuff, but I think as a creator that's been doing this for a few years, you get kind of sick of your own voice, and so you're like, I'd like to welcome other people, please come in and do this. So it's been really cute, kind of showing, yeah, just how people
Yeah,
navigate the world and do
I
stuff
love
and what
it.
they want to see.
I
That's
love
good.
it. And I feel like, and it's not even to say, because I do this also, right? Like we see
Mhm.
someone, like I watch Alexis, she has a limb difference. All right, that's who I'm gonna go to for that content. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
you find like oh, that's a person using a wheelchair and they know how to do fitness. Cool. I'll just watch what they do. I'm done. I'm not watching
Mm,
anyone. You know what I mean?
good
So when you
point.
start
Yeah.
to bring, when you have your following and you show like, oh yeah, remember there's other people, like there's other
Mm,
perspectives. It's not just mine. It's like, oh yeah. That's true. I
that's a
forgot
really good
about that.
point. That's a really good point, actually, because yeah, even I can like, well, anybody obviously, but even I
Yeah.
can like for other people with limb differences, like every April, I'm just like, oh yeah, there's a whole
Oh my
so
gosh, I
many more
forgot
people that I
about
need to
more
be like, yeah,
people.
watching and learning. And you're totally right about that whole like, yeah, like this is my one creator in this,
Yeah,
section of life that I'm going to learn
good
from.
to
But no,
hear.
it's so much richer. It's a good lesson we can all learn, hey? It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
about movement? Because I know you were into working out at home and doing your yoga. How does that go?
Okay, I should, oh, they're downstairs, but I on Facebook Marketplace, and I think maybe I messaged you, Mary Beth. I don't remember. I messaged someone about this, but I got the most like retro old, uh, what are these called? Dumbbells? Like
Dumbbells? Oh,
Oh,
like
these things?
like the metal one?
Yeah,
Like,
like the metal ones that are like they're all rusty and you like there's like a
oh
metal
my
like twister thing
oh
and they
yeah.
have like 5 or 6 different weights that you can like adjust on them and they like clink when you like lift it like clink clink
Oh
clink clink. I feel
yeah.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger in like the
Yeah,
80s,
yeah.
you know? They're so rad and I honestly like I probably could be using them more, but when I got those on Facebook Marketplace, I put them out on my back deck. I was just like, yeah. And then I'm using the Harbinger hook that you sent me, Mary Beth. Like
Nice.
I'm using that to do my bicep curls and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I think once, it gets even warmer, I'll be doing way more of that on the deck. And lots of like we're doing some Ali and I made it a goal to do 15 minutes of running every day if we can. And so far so good. Especially with the stroller and once Joven's asleep, we're just getting out and going kind of up and down our main drag here and just like run, 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 run.
Oh, that's perfect.
Um, so and it's amazing how my body is just like how much it's changed, how much my gait has changed, how much my hips have changed, and
Right.
the places I'm sore are so much different than they were. Some better, some a lot worse. And just the strength in my core and my back has just, it needs some love because carrying a baby around stretches all that out, and you just gotta. So it's like I'm getting to know my body again,
Yeah.
and it's like a I don't know. It's a difficult dating process, getting, falling back in love with this body and like getting to know what she needs
Like,
and
who is she?
who are you? What's
Mhm.
happening? But it's good. I'm taking it slow and I'm loving what I can do. And every time I get frustrated or I get discouraged or sad or whatever, I'm just like, hey, you made a baby. You are incredible. You made a baby. You're incredible. And it just
Hmm.
helps me like center myself again and focus on, where I've been and yeah, it really
Nice.
helps.
I think what did Christy say? Like a year and a half or 2 years she spent just figuring it out again before she even went back to big barbell lifts. Like she just
Yeah,
took
I
her
mean,
time.
it's tough. It's tough. It's not just like the body transformation. It's the nutrition, right?
Oh,
Along with just like getting
You're
out to
literally not
walk.
sleeping. Like
Exactly. You're
so
yeah.
spending
true.
every waking hour, also feeding the child that you created and making sure that they're happy.
Yeah, and then you still have to do your laundry, like, and then you
Yeah.
have to do their laundry, and then
And then
then it's
eating,
time to feed them
taking a
again.
shower.
That's it. Day's
It
over.
it's so true. And it's so funny you say that about the eating stuff because um I don't know what the number is, but when you are, a breastfeeding or a chest feeding person and you're making milk for this baby, like the amount that you have to eat more per day to produce that
Oh,
milk and just like the calorie burning and the energy output is it's quite large.
I didn't
And
even think of
so
that.
yeah, so not only are you like when you're growing the baby inside, I was waking up at midnight and then again at 3 a.m. during the last bit of the pregnancy, and each time eating almost a full meal. Like it was just
Wow.
so bizarre and amazing. I love eating, like it was great. But I thought like, when the baby comes, that'll stop because I won't be pregnant anymore. But no, it just persists because the breast milk it's such a and my breasts are constantly like warm because they're constantly producing a high level of
Wow.
milk. And so I'm still waking up usually around 1 or 2, and sometimes even earlier, and like making a peanut butter sandwich or eating leftovers.
Wow.
So
Oh
it's still
my
happening.
goodness.
Yeah, getting used to like what I need to put in my body and what, fills those cravings and what makes me feel like more satiated versus before. So yeah, it's really interesting.
So are all of those cues kind of off? Because we talked about that a little bit before, that you can tell, like, okay, I need to eat
Mm,
some more vegetables or something. Like you could tell by your
right.
skin or the way you felt. Are those cues kind of just gone now? Are you on a whole different?
Yeah, that's a good question too. They're very different. I wouldn't say they're gone. They've just changed. And I think, like you said before about the like the exhaustion and the sleep deprivation,
Yeah.
that that really interferes with my ability to connect with what my body needs and what it's telling me.
Mm,
I think exhaustion in any shape or form just limits my brain power or anyone's brain power, I bet, you know. So
right.
I'm not able to fully listen. And honestly, sometimes I will get to a day and I'm like, did I eat breakfast? Let's shove, whatever I find on the counter into my mouth and hope it lasts me till lunch. And other days are, I'm cooking and making really well planned meals, and that's great too. But it depends on if Joven's had a bad night or depending on her needs, etc. So yeah, I sometimes the cues kind of take a second, backseat to the immediate needs of Joven and my family and kind of what's happening there. And I think that'll settle out very soon. It is settling out now. Because part of me is like, oh, I want to just focus on myself, blah, blah. And that's
Hmm.
great too, but it's virtually impossible to do right away. But
Right.
it's getting there. It's getting there. I think even the fact that I can get out for a run and do some like bicep curls once in a while, that alone I couldn't do month 3, so it's shaping up a little. Shaping up
Yeah,
nice.
going into
Sounds
11
good.
months. Sounds like there
Yeah.
is a routine. And I
Yeah.
think having what like fast breakfast, fast snacks just like readily available for
Mm-hmm.
you at those, I don't know, when
Mm-hmm.
you wake up at 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, that's definitely helpful, right?
Mm,
Absolutely. My mom makes these killer like oats banana muffins or whatever. She brings them over a lot because she's just a sweet, sweet woman. And often it's those that I'm just like, I'll take a muffin, right, out of the fridge. I won't heat it up or anything. I'll just take it out of the fridge. I'll open the margarine container. I'll dip the entire muffin in margarine. I'll close the margarine and I will shove it in my mouth. Like that is how quickly I'm moving and how much I'm just like, I don't want to dirty a dish. I'm just gonna
yeah. I'm just gonna eat
And then
this. I'm
Allie's
not
like,
even washing
what's in the
dishes.
butter? Right? No, it's so true. Because like you said too, you have double the laundry or triple the laundry because your baby, has spit up on their clothes or poop or whatever,
Right.
and then your outfit's changed about 4 times that day because you're holding the baby all the time and you've got breast milk leaking, poop on yourself,
Yeah.
spit up on yourself. So
Mm.
I found shirts in my closet that I'm like, I didn't even know I had this, but I've had to wear because nothing else is clean.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
I'd be like,
Wow.
we're wearing plastic bags today. I'm not doing any laundry for the rest of the week.
I'm saying naked.
It's
No one's
Putting
coming over. Who cares?
it's true. We do a lot of naked days, which are, good for everybody.
Exactly.
But yeah, I can't wait until it's hot enough that we can just, after a big messy meal, we can either eat outside or I can just like hose them off, be like, okay, kid, stand over there. I'm just gonna hose you. Yeah, that'll be a good day.
Oh man.
That'll be a good
Oof.
day.
What are you doing for the housework and the chores and the regular stuff? Do you have, you mentioned your mom's helping you with some food and some snacks. Do you have help in your
Yeah.
day-to-day also?
Yeah, mom and my stepdad, they come because they like are grandparents and offer childcare for Jove, and they're able to be in our bubble for COVID, which is really, really
I
nice. They're
know,
like
because I
the
can't
only people.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah. So whenever they're over, and if we have like dishes or whatever, they just quietly go do them, and it's just like you don't even notice, and then the next day or that night you look and you're like, did the kitchen fairy come? Like, what is this? Like, they're
Oh.
really, really lovely. And mom will also, sometimes she'll sneak our laundry into a bag and she'll take it home and she'll do it and bring it back the next day. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're amazing. So yeah, we've had lovely supports
That's
um,
great.
in
Because
that regard.
she knows what it's like.
Yeah,
Is that her first
absolutely.
grandchild?
Yes, although my sister has a French bulldog, Jezebel, who is technically my mom's first grandchild,
Yeah.
a grand dog. And
Grand dog.
she's so much like a child that we call her mom's first grandchild. But so Joven is her first human grandchild.
Yeah. Grand
Yes,
human.
grand human as opposed to a grand dog. And it's
Amazing.
cute. The other day, Jez, I had her here in the backyard, and Joven, for the first time, like reached out to actually pet her himself because he's been a little bit nervous around dogs just because like she doesn't see them very much. But yeah, it was really, really cute. Jezebel was kind of sitting with her bum towards Joven, and Joven was just like just like smacked her bum, and Jez was like, "Yeah, I like that." It was really cute.
Oh my gosh,
Really
they're gonna
cute.
grow old together a little bit.
Cousins. Yeah.
That's
That's
adorable.
so, and
There's
they
nothing
both
cuter
got
than.
J names too. Jez
Mm-hmm.
I
and
know.
Jove. Jove
Yeah,
and Jez.
but like
Jovi
that's a good
Jazz.
thing. But the only catch to that is I often call Joven Jezebel or vice versa,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just like, what?
Oh,
What? It's
One of
great.
those.
that's
My
that's
little
so normal though. Like, I mean,
yeah.
obviously parents with multiple children, but like I literally call my dog, who's our child, Maple, my sister's name, who lives in
Oh
Las Vegas. I'm like, Sarah, stop. Oh
Names
wait.
are hard.
Yeah.
Names
yeah.
are
'Cause they're
What
the
hard.
kind
only
of
females
they
in
are?
the
Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
call someone in the house. Hey, whatever your name is, you please help me. Thank you. It's
What
not
kind of
coming
dog do
right
you
now.
have? What kind
Oh,
of
have
uh,
pup
you
do you
ever
have?
seen Maple?
she's
I
a
hang on, don't tell
CKC.
me. Let me think. Is
What?
she is
What?
she a
What?
bulldog? Part bulldog?
That was
No.
Chloe.
No.
She's a
Oh,
bulldog mother.
Yeah,
oh,
Chloe's at the
okay.
Bulldogs.
I would
Oh,
love to
okay.
have bulldogs though. Mine's a
Maybe that's the
mutt,
dog
like
I've
you
seen,
can't
yeah.
really tell.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool.
But she's a CKC Spaniel and a Papillon. And then Marcia's got
Oh,
like 3 dogs.
oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
3 puppies.
Puppy
Mm-hmm.
love. My ultimate goal is to, I think when Joven's like just a couple of years older, I'd love to adopt a retired greyhound because they need a lot of love and they're just so majestic. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're so
Well,
tall.
one of my dogs, and I don't know which side of him because he's a corgi and English bulldog mix, but he's obsessed with babies. So look into
Oh,
either of those. He protects
okay.
every baby. He'd never even meet a baby. He just sees a baby and he's just like, this is my baby now. Like every time.
Oh my gosh, that's so
So
good.
if you
I
want
love
to,
that.
yeah, I don't know which side of it, which dog gives them that, if it's the corgi or the English bulldog, but this.
But aren't animals amazing? Like
No,
how
but
what they
nobody,
can.
no one else
Yeah,
cares like him though. The other
yeah.
ones are like, oh, cute, who's this? Can they pet me? You know, like that's the level. But this one, he's like, whoa, you're walking too fast. Step away from the baby.
Oh,
Like, this is
that's
my
It'll
baby.
amazing.
Like he
probably
will block you off. Like, yo, this is my baby.
he'll probably
I
feed
love
it
that.
too if you let it. Just like let him
Like if the
feed the
baby's
child.
crying, like his little ears are everywhere. He's just like, oh God, the baby. Like, what are you doing? You don't even know
Oh,
this baby. You just met her.
that is so brilliant. So protective. And he's a male dog?
Yeah, male dog.
That's
It's
amazing.
so
Great, like
right. What is
parental,
that?
maternal I don't know. It's
I don't
wonderful.
know. I gotta look into it. But we're gonna actually just pause for a quick second. So we're gonna stick a
Okay.
little commercial in here, pay the bills. Right, right, right. Then we'll come right back, keep it moving. Not a big deal. Just like 2
Love
seconds.
that. Love that.
I'm
I
gonna
forgot
keep
how it
that.
goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that part. I'm not
No.
gonna cut that. I'm gonna keep that.
Do do
Do.
do 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 do. I'll have a bite of my mac and cheese then.
Amazing. Well done. Well done.
Mhm.
So, it's a great way to stay in shape.
Dance in your pants.
Dance in your pants. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that dog. I gotta do some research. Because both of those breeds are just funky and quirky and just weirdos.
That's
So I
beautiful.
don't know which
It
side
is.
that comes from.
Well,
You
if you
know,
ever need a babysitter, there you go.
That's it. Just
yeah,
get him a harness, like little horse dog. Make
there you go.
just put the
Oh my
baby
on
on.
God.
their back.
Yeah.
Just
That's it. Just
well,
let them
it's
go.
funny you say that because like Jezebel, my sister's French bulldog, she labored with me, so she's really really good in pregnancy and birth. So
Huh.
I don't know why, because she's only ever had C-sections, because she's a retired breeder. That's where my sister rescued her from.
Oh.
But so she's had lots of babies, but never got to really be a mother. But like she's been with other dogs as they've given birth and really offered them support. She was with me during my labor.
Wow.
She let me hold on to her quite tightly and she just stayed really calm. She just kicks it into high gear when people are, giving birth or dogs are giving birth. It's incredible. And I
Wow.
watch that. Yeah, yeah, really neat. I have a
That's
couple pictures of
interesting.
me holding onto her fur in my bed as I'm just like, "Gah."
Right. So you did
So
everything at home?
I did. I had a home birth, planned that for quite some time, and we had a big birth pool and everything. And the labor started roughly at like 6 in the morning, really, really like chill. And then it didn't really kick into high gear until maybe like noon or 1. And then Joven came at 7:57 p.m.
Whew,
But the
12
birth,
hours.
well, yeah, but it
Wow.
wasn't really bad until like
Okay.
1 or 2. So it was really only like 6 or 7 hours that were kind of more painful. But your adrenaline's just like, "Bleh," so you don't have time to process the pain. It's just happening to you, but you're not really feeling it. I don't know. It's
And did the
uncomfortable,
water
but not the
help?
worst. Well, it did. It helped a lot. But it took them a while to fill it up. Like they were still filling it as I was in the tub because my labor was progressing so quickly. And
Oh.
it did help a lot. Like water is called nature's epidural, they call it, and because it does feel really nice. But my water, like my internal water, broke when I was in the birthing tub. And as soon as your water breaks, that's when you lose that extra padding and cushion, so the contractions start really hurting, and that's when it
Mm.
kicked into high gear.
Oof.
And then for some reason, my body was like, I don't want to be in the tub anymore. I want to be in the bedroom. So I got up and I went to the bedroom. And then after about
Oh.
20 minutes, my body was like, I want to be in the bathroom. So I got up and I went to the bathroom and I didn't question it. I just let my
Did
body
whatever it said.
lead. Yep. And then I eventually I labored on the toilet for quite some time. And then when Joven was like really ready to come, I got down on my knees I wasn't facing anyone. I was facing the wall, holding onto the bathtub. I just didn't want to look at anyone. And so I was facing backwards. And so Allison was like between my legs, getting ready to catch the baby. Um, and she had been coached to catch the baby on the toilet, but I flipped around last minute. So she was like, oh crap, how do I do this in reverse? So she was like trying to figure that out. And it all worked out great. Joven came out and Al she had the umbilical cord wrapped around their neck about 3 times.
Ooh.
So my midwife took off one, and then I grabbed in and I was like, whoosh, whoosh, took it off.
Dang.
Yeah, it was amazing how it just like kicks in like that.
Well, maybe that's
Um,
why you got out of the water. Might have been tougher.
Yeah.
Maybe you knew.
oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's so true. I never thought of that because then it would have been harder to see and it would have
Yeah.
been trickier for her to breathe right away and all these things. So, yeah, huh,
Wow.
that blows my mind. That's a good point.
That is nuts.
Wow.
But
Bodies
I
are
love that all
weird.
three
What
of
the
you are
hell?
like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were just
But
like, I
how
gotta do
all
Oh,
this in
three
the
of you.
bathroom right now. Baby's out. All
yeah,
right, you get one loop. I got one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah. And I just
Beautiful
scooped her up and
team.
just
Wow.
had her in my arms, and I knew to like, rub them and get them
What
going.
the
And
heck?
yeah, it was really, really cool. And I had some like wonders about how am I going to hold my baby in a way that feels right and safe? And I wasn't worried that I couldn't do it, but I was also just like, it's going to be interesting, navigating
Mm-hmm.
baby life and baby holding and baby maneuvering with my limb difference because I'm missing my arm, below the elbow on my left side, and like or my hand or whatever. And so I had questions, but when Joven came and I just scooped him up and it just
Just
felt
knew.
so right, so natural. It was like
So natural.
all those weird questions and fears kind of went
Yeah.
away. And yeah, everything's been pretty good. The only thing I don't really like to do is cut her nails. I don't even really like cutting my own nails. I'm
No,
like,
that's
so
no.
I
But
And
get
they're
they're
Allie
so
to help.
tiny.
tiny.
They're
Yeah.
so
They're so
tiny.
tiny. So I
I
get
would
Allie to
file
help
it
with that.
probably. I don't think I can hold anything sharp near anything that cute.
No,
I'd be so nervous.
I absolutely. I think a lot of people, regardless of how many limbs they have, are just like, I don't know. But apparently, you can like bite their nails, like if they've had a bath and they're nice and kind of like soft, you can like gently
Ah,
bite them. And a lot of parents do that to avoid the nail clippers. Fun fact about parenting,
Really?
I haven't tried it, but that's apparently in case
that's in your
anyone was
bank.
wondering.
That's in your random parent knowledge bank. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Oh,
sharing.
there's so many. I can give you tips on how to get like gelled chia seed off of a floor in like
Oh
seconds.
my God.
Random information you're never gonna have to know unless, yeah. Anyway.
Lord. Woo.
Well, but speaking of your labor, I don't know if you've seen this, Marcia, but oh, I
Mhm.
shared it to all of my pregnant friends during that time. But when Alexis had first gotten into labor, she was baking a freaking cake.
Oh,
Like literally when the contractions had started, she was in her freaking kitchen
yeah,
Baking a
baking a
cake.
cake.
No, I
And
missed
I think you
that. That's
counted
hilarious.
how many
yeah,
times you had contractions for how long.
I did. Yeah, I thank you for reminding me. It's like I remember, but I also have
So
like blocked
beautiful.
that whole part of my life out. But I'm like, oh yeah, I like, and that's because my incredible midwife and birth worker told me that by the time you have baked, cooled, and iced a cake, your labor from start to finish will be complete. So I was like, huh, I'm gonna riff on that, and I'm gonna
You're gonna do
I'm
that.
gonna
Literally gonna do that.
yeah, and so I'm like, I'm gonna get all of this stuff ready. I'll get my, I'll just use my phone and I'm gonna try to record an episode, bake a cake, figure that out, and to kind of help me take my mind off of labor because the
Yeah.
worst is when you think about it, and the best is when you're just
Right.
off doing other things.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so the pre-labor happened early in the morning. 6 a.m. is when I was like, Allison, I think I'm in labor. She was like, "Oh, wow, do you want me to wake up with you?" And I was like, "No, it's okay. You go back to sleep." Thinking like maybe she'll wake up with me and we'll just get excited together. But she was like, she was going right back to sleep. And I was like,
Say
"Okay,
less.
cool. I will just sit here in excitement by myself and time my contractions." I could not go back to sleep. And I called my midwife and they came around, I don't know, like when did they come? Oh, not till like 12 or 1 maybe.
Mm,
Dang. That's a
Um,
long time.
yeah,
yeah,
you just
because I was like they were like, "Oh, you're." I was timing them and they were quite far apart and they were like,
oh.
"Yeah, call me back at 3 and I'll come over for dinner time." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good." But then I texted them a couple hours later and I was like, "Hi, they're actually this far apart." And they were like, "I'm gonna get my bag ready now. I'm gonna see you soon." And I was like, "Okay." And at that point, I was like, "Allison, we're baking the cake." So I
Get the
started
cameras
cooking.
rolling.
Get the
Get it. That
flour.
was about
Let's
a
go.
let's go. It was like 11 a.m. That I started the episode and probably like before 12 that I stopped. It didn't take too long. But then yeah, like I said, like 12, 1 o'clock is when they really like the contractions really kicked into high gear. Because as I was filming, I was like, yeah, these contractions are like they're like 8 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart. But as I actually timed them during
Mm,
the filming, they were like 3 minutes apart. I had no
Yeah.
sense of time. So yeah, then I got into the pool and it was a perfect way to start the labor process just because it's now captured, on camera and a
Yeah.
lot of the world has seen it and but I have those moments of, I can go back into that body and be like, "Oh, I remember what that felt like. I remember wiggling my toes each contraction. I would curl my toes up because that would help distract some of the pain down my legs and just that visceral experience that, you know, weirdly I would actually want to feel again because it was so enlivening and beautiful and hard and yeah, it was horrible, but it was beautiful. I
yeah.
would do it again in a heartbeat.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking to powerlifters and like strongman, right? So I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
I think we got you. Yeah. Like
Absolutely.
your soul left your
Absolutely.
body. It was disgusting. I
Yeah.
loved it. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
It's
there.
it's so and honestly, it's like you kind of I've been told and what I kind of did a little bit too is like going into labor as approaching a really hard sport, like maybe a long, really intense game or a marathon or
Yeah.
whatever. And like you kind of do the mental training ahead of time, and you
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of visualizations and like some of the physical training too. But going into
That
it, I
makes
literally
sense.
felt like I was ready for that match or that marathon or whatever, and then I just wrote it out. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities, I think, to like
Sport.
sport,
That's
lifting, all
great.
that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
literally, I guess, know and feel your body's potential. Like it's not just physically, but mentally. Holy crap.
yeah. There's so many
I did
parallels,
that.
hey?
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like you get
Yeah.
that one squat that you felt like you almost broke your body
Oh,
in half for, and then you look at the video like, wow, I did that.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
that felt
Literally. And the whole
terrible. I'd
break.
do it again. Like, yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
I
And
get you.
yeah,
I get you.
yeah.
I'm
And breaking
picking
your
it
body
up.
in half is a good metaphor because totally what it feels like to have a baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh,
That's a lot.
very cool. Yeah, and I recorded it all. The sound didn't work. We forgot to turn on the microphone, which is probably a good thing.
That's
But
fine.
I did record a lot of like back, kind of shots of the birth too that I'm interweaving into a few episodes now and again. So I've shown a couple different clips and
Oh,
yeah, just to kind of get the vibe of what it was like because it was really beautiful to have, you know, just me and Ali and my birth team and pictures up on the wall of my grandparents and Ali's grandparents just to kind of like, invite our baby into our extended family and I don't know, it was just really, really
that's
lovely. I'll
sweet.
never forget the day,
Yeah.
yeah.
But did the pandemic change the way you were going to do it, or did you have everything according to your plan?
That's a great question, and I think it didn't affect it too much other than the fact that my family couldn't be with me. They
Right.
were in the backyard. I had a barbecue, and so they were outside. It was just the three of them, outside barbecuing and stuff. And that was when the regulations were a little bit different, so we were able to, you know, be distanced, but also the whole pod system hadn't really come too much into play as much, so it was a little bit easier. But still, it was like they couldn't be in the house, and we couldn't like be all together right away, so that was tricky. But honestly, I don't think I would have changed much. I liked having the space and
Mm-hmm.
just having me and
Hmm.
Allie for a lot of it. Um,
That's
so
right.
yeah, I was very lucky. I'm glad I didn't have to rely on a hospital birth because that would have been in some places, Allie wouldn't have been able to come with me.
Right.
I would have been alone.
Oh,
So
oof. I
Yeah.
don't know, but that's a
yeah,
little, ugh.
my
It's
heart just
weird.
goes out to all of the parents that had to deal with that crap by themselves. And so I feel very honored and
How many
blessed and
people are
lucky.
getting ultrasounds done and nobody can see the images with
Right?
them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. It's
Hmm.
awful. Hmm.
There's
Yes.
one thing that you mentioned, Alexis, back when you were pregnant, and I think you were going in for specific checkup with your doctor, your OBGYN. And
Yeah.
I mean, with Limb Difference Awareness Month, it's just so important that, the medical industry just sees our limb differences as like, I don't know, a setback or like,
Mm.
oh, congratulations, your child doesn't have any limb differences like you. To
Yeah.
hear that like must have been so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was at that time I had to go into for a scan because a second scan because I had a couple thyroid levels that were potentially a bit out of whack, but they ended up being fine. But it was this kind of special second scan and the person uh like the technician, went showed the doctor my scans and then came back and was like, I just gotta get a couple more. We just didn't quite get a couple pictures of what everything we needed to. And I was like, is everything okay? And they were like, yeah, we just couldn't see one of the fingers or one of the hands or whatever. And in my head, I was like, does my baby have a limb difference? Because that would be amazing. But I didn't say it out loud. And because both Allie and I were just like, we know it's not genetic, but like, what wouldn't it be great if?
Right.
And so then, they did more scans, took them to the doctor, and the doctor came back and basically, I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, you know, all is well. We were able to find all 10 toes, all 10 fingers.
Oh.
And I just like, I kind of stopped him and I was like, wait, did you think I'm here because I'm worried that my baby might have one hand like me? Like, That's not why. Did you read the chart? I didn't say that part, but
You
I'm
should
there
have.
for a thyroid thing, and I had to make it humorous because I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Of
Yeah.
course.
It was so like borderline like eugenics and gross and just like awful that I was just like, are you kidding? Like, and then I was like, I would actually love it, and we were hoping for that, and I also know it's not genetic, so the chances of me having a baby with a limb difference are the same as probably the
Anyone.
same or similar to anyone else.
Yeah.
And then he kind of had to backtrack. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's really important to know,
That's
like you said,
gross.
just how deeply entrenched the whole, like just ableism in general and how the medical community, I don't know, yeah, just pathologizes and um, makes it so, like just the focus on that perfect baby and all
Oh
these
yeah.
things. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so scary. It's can go a lot of dark ways. And so, yeah, thanks for bringing that up because that's really
Oof.
important. And like I said, you know, not to make this real dark, but it's also super important. And I've spoken about this on numerous episodes, and on Instagram and stuff. But like to this day, doctors around the world still offer, you know, to terminate the pregnancy if they find a limb difference,
Yeah.
abnormality, they call it, or whatever. They offer that to the parents up to, I don't know, late in the day. And it's just like, you know, obviously people have a right to do what they wish with their bodies. I'm pro-choice, of course, but if that is the problem presented and the rationale, and that's the only reason,
Yeah,
and
this is
there's
not
no other
life
support
saving.
given,
This isn't life
it's
threatening. You just don't like it.
messed
Yeah.
up. It's
It
so
is.
messed up. It's like eugenics, horrible. It's just awful. And so, um, yeah, it's just good to talk about. And obviously these things are changing and it's not every doctor and it's getting better, but we do still need to remind people that there are many other options and there are beautiful lives and existences all over the place with limb differences, disabilities that have incredible lives that deserve to be as celebrated as everybody else. So,
Yep.
Yes, yes. And
yeah.
Seriously.
that's why your channel is so important. That's why, the Lucky Finn project is so important.
Mm,
Even
absolutely.
I feel like, the autistic community as well feels a lot of this pain.
Yes,
Oh, for
So
absolutely.
sure.
That's
I mean, it's
particularly
just
stigmatized, yeah.
oh yeah. Like ableism in parenting is also just
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
I
in and
know
of
many,
itself
many,
horrible.
many who are siblings and their parents,
Hmm.
they did it was because of the vaccine and they didn't do anything for the second child, and the second child's also on the spectrum and they have nothing to blame this time, but they still are just as
Yeah,
nasty about it. Like, this your child is not being nourished right now. Like,
it's
you,
awful.
Yeah.
It's just
what are you
like,
doing?
let's just cut to the chase and get to disconnect with your child. You know, just be
Yeah.
with them as they are because this is your child. Yeah, it's awful. I totally hear you.
Or the ones that are like applauding the parents for parenting an autistic child or a child who has
Oh
a
yeah,
disability. It's just like
like I'm a
okay.
Down syndrome mom or special
uh,
needs mommy, and
it's
then they want the badge and the thing and the
Yeah, it's like good for you for being a regular, decent human being. Like, what?
exactly.
Hello? It's like the same thing for, you know, white folks who want cookies for, you know,
Adopting.
supporting. Well, yeah, yeah, or even just like simple
look at
like
this money I raised for NAACP or whatever, like
whatever, yeah, or
Hmm.
that
like I support
performance.
Black Lives Matter with this picture or whatever, and they're just like, look at me, yay.
Yeah.
But no, that's it's so much, it's got to be so much deeper than that.
Performative.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and when you're kind of using your kids as a prop in a way, I
Ugh,
guess, but
Yes, that's
yeah.
exactly. It's one
Oh
thing
my
to be
god.
like, hey, my kid has this rare as fuck disease, or my kid has this common as fuck disease, and let me teach you about some things and share my
Hmm.
experience. Like, cool, do that.
yeah.
People need to
Or can
know.
you support me in these ways because
Yeah,
we need it together,
people
but
need
not
to
like,
know. But the
yeah.
hey,
Hmm.
I'm a Down syndrome mom. Like, yeah, special needs
No.
superhero. Like, no. Uh,
Yeah.
The gray area. It's a weird line. Hey, you're just like,
it's a
I don't
very
know.
strange world. And when it comes to online, like, you don't even want to go in there. You don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
Don't even
No.
get into that algorithm. It's weird.
Only. Don't even get into that algorithm. I wish.
Don't.
That's so funny.
It's fucking weird.
I
Hate it
love
there.
that.
All right.
Yep.
Well, is there anything you'd like to share in terms of Limb Difference Awareness Month, in terms of tiny
Oh,
humans, in terms of anything? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
I think just
Wait,
like, I don't know, I'm just so happy to be on here again. So thank you so much. I'll be all obviously all the limb difference awareness content that I'm posting this month will be on my Instagram forever. So anyone at any time can check it out. Please do
Good.
and
Good
follow
point.
lots of different creators from, all around the world, etc.
how can they
And
find you?
my YouTube channel is Stump Kitchen on YouTube. That's pretty quick to find. And then my Instagram is at stump_kitchen, or if you just type in Stump Kitchen, you'll find me. And those are probably the best ways. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter.
Lovely.
Barely use them, but I'm there. So
I
yeah.
exist. Oh, wait a minute. Weren't you supposed to do a parenting podcast or something?
Oh yeah. I did that with my friend Kyle. And so
Yeah.
it's called The Queer Moms You Wish You Had.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
And
Kyle in a bit online. I gotta. What's it called? Again?
The Queer Moms You Wish You Had. And yeah, they're
Okay.
kind of taking a little bit of a not like a break from social media, but just like, they're parenting and it's hard times too.
Mhm.
And I had to take a little bit back from that podcast too, just because of time and resources and energy. But yeah, we've got some fun episodes up. So you can find it places that you can get other podcasts. And yeah, we share some
Nice.
funny tidbits, and a few more to come as well. So yeah, you can check that out if you want to.
That's great.
Sounds
Oh,
Yeah.
before
amazing.
you go, Alexis, and I guess our
Yeah.
listeners can hear this too. It just came into my head
Yes.
memory month, but when you posted that video of, your experience with the doctor, I was kind of going through a similar like um I guess medical industry thing. So I was
Oh.
like I had plans to try to donate eggs or an egg. And there's
Right.
this long, long process, right? You're telling them your genetic history, your
Hmm.
disability, your literally everything, like family.
Screening.
And I just remember feeling so uncomfortable in like
Mm.
a phone screening afterward when they're asking a lot more questions
Oh,
about my
wow.
disability, knowing
Mm.
that that was not genetic.
Oh,
And then also schizophrenia in my father, knowing that that is also not genetic, and just
oh
how
my
like
gosh.
ableist
Yeah.
that conversation was. And so the
Hmm.
video that you posted like really touched me,
Oh,
in
wow.
knowing that I don't know this misinformation, disinformation, and then this idea of like having that perfect child needs to
Hmm.
go away.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
it erases the realities and the lives of so many people or devalues them. And
Exactly.
and I'm thank you for sharing that actually too, because one of my really good friends growing up, she she needed an egg donor to get pregnant, and she ended up having two twins, fraternal twins. But yeah, she was quite young when she went through early menopause, and the egg donor was just her saving grace. And so that's amazing of you to want to do that. What a beautiful thing. What a
Yeah.
beautiful gift for you to give
That's
somebody in the future.
beautiful.
So yeah,
Yeah, well, I
yeah.
mean, it's definitely a process that I wanted to take, but of course my application was rejected, denied, and I don't know exactly why. So,
Are you
Mhm.
fucking
that's
kidding me?
definitely, yeah, that's definitely
Oh,
something that needs to be, brought up
yeah.
to
That's
light.
heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that
disgusting.
makes me so angry. So angry. I'm
Yeah,
really sorry that that happened because that's
but
absolutely not okay.
I
You're
just
Change,
perfect.
even,
You're
medical.
perfect, and your eggs are perfect. Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
I'm
I
not.
need.
I'll eat your eggs for breakfast and I'm a vegan. Wait, that was
You're
really gross.
vegan.
Sorry.
No, that's a baby.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. But hey, I
No,
guess so was a chicken egg. I don't know.
yeah. No,
Anyway,
it ended
yeah.
with a big F you, and like no, I'll definitely just have my own children and all those great things, but whatever.
Hmm. which
Nah,
the
that's
world
pretty
will be
fucked
lucky
up.
to have.
That's
Yeah.
pretty. The
Yeah.
thing I hate the most about those moments, and I'm sure that's the same thing you explained, Alexis. Like in the moment, you're
Hmm.
like, "What the fuck? For
Yeah.
real? Is it me?
Hmm.
Is it me? Is it them? Is it
Yeah.
me?" And then
Right.
later you think about it, you unpack, and I was like, I should have cursed them the fuck
Yeah.
out. God
Yeah.
damn
Yes.
it.
Yes. Because yes, you're totally right. You're totally right. You're just like, can
That's
I
what
go
I
back in
hate.
time?
And you
Yeah.
spend
Yeah.
like 2 weeks, like I could have said this, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I
Well,
could have
that's the
said
thing
this.
about ableism, right? It's just it comes at such
Ugh.
a shock because it's
Hmm.
not as outward as usually sexist or racist
Yeah.
derogatives.
Yeah.
Like
No,
it's
you were not mentally there. You weren't prepared for
No.
yeah.
that. You were thinking about your
No.
thyroid. You're like, dang, what's up with my hormones? Like, is the baby
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
Gotta get my blood drawn or something later. Oh, 10 fingers. What?
Yeah. And they went back
What?
for extra scans too, for the most
Exactly.
part.
You're
Like,
not even
okay.
you're not
Exactly.
even
Yeah. Oh,
there.
I needed both of you with me during that process for you to be
Yeah.
like, excuse me. That would have been great.
Oh, hate it. All right. Well,
Anyway, thanks for sharing.
that's
I'll
a
let you.
thing.
Yeah, thank you. This was a beautiful and important and heavy conversation. So I'm really, really glad. And hopefully you'll have me back again to talk about who knows what else.
Always,
All of the
always.
things.
I'll put you in the nest right now. You got your own code. Come on in.
Yay! You're amazing. Yeah, I
Oh,
love chatting with you. It's just great. And yeah, just keep doing the work that you're doing as you can because it's so wonderful and lovely and important and I always feel good when I see your posts. So yeah.
yay, thank
We
you.
do
Mhm.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Keep doing it. And
Thank
keep
you.
sending updates of
You got it.
Joven.
Absolutely. I'll send you some pics on the DL right now too.
woo, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disabled girls out.